Okay, and welcome back. All right, doing something a little bit different here today. I've done all my videos as full build videos, but today I'm gonna try just doing an open kit review. So now, the reason I'm doing this time-wise, uh, as life would have it, life with a capital L, um, I haven't had a whole lot of time to sit down and work on building, which at this point in time would be the Meng Models British Mark V World War I tank. So I had to take a little break from that. Not by choice, but it's just so happened that way. So just to be doing something at the table, I figured I do an open kit review. So going to start off with doing this with this AMT Coca-Cola monster truck. Pretty neat kit. So what we're going to do, we'll take a look at the box, we'll go through all the sprues, look at the instructions, decals, and then at the end of me gabbing, I have JPEGs of the individual parts trees. So if you want to stop and really take a close look, count part numbers, whatever you want to do, that'll be after I finish talking. So let's get to it. First thing, I found a little curious with the kit. You'll notice there's no logos, no part number. We just get this nice cover art. It is an AMT kit. And when we look at the box side, we get to see these nice graphics of a finished kit. And you can see it does build up to be a nice monster truck ground pounding machine. So, all right, and just for reference, this is the AMT kit number right there. I'll have that down in the description at the end of the video. All right, so that's the box. On the box bottom, we get the typical AMT sprue map, layout of the parts, but I'm not going to show that because we're going to look at the parts for real. So let's start off with the tires, because nothing says monster truck like a humongous set of tires, and these are really nice. As you can tell, they are soft and they are hollow. They are one piece, which is great. You don't have to join tire halves together. There is no branding on the sidewall of the tire, but that's just fine. And we have a nice tread pattern. There is a little bit of a seam cleanup here on the tire, but no big deal. Small sacrifice considering this nice tire you get. Now, as far as the body goes, it comes bagged as such, all fitted together. So let's just pop this apart. There we go. And we'll look at this one by one. Now, it is in, I guess what you would call an old school monster truck rendition, whereas the truck is still using a conventional frame, as opposed to the more modern monster truck design, which uses a tube frame. However, this is much easier of a kit to assemble than one of these. These build up great, but we're talking about this today. And also, as I was looking through the parts, I thought, this Coca-Cola style monster truck, the way they did this one, this is a really nice kit for someone who's getting into the hobby to take a crack at, because it's a monster truck, it's fun, you get a nice thing at the end, and the assembly will be pretty straightforward, as opposed to trying to piece together all these tube frame pieces. So this is the Teenage Mutant Ninja monster truck kit, which I have not seen in quite a long time. But anyway, I think AMT has reissued a couple of times with different trucks and a slightly different tube frame, but that's that. All right, so here is our underbody, and you can see it's pretty nicely detailed. Nothing remarkable to write home about there, and fortunately it is pretty straight There's going to be a lot going on underneath here once all the suspension elements are added, so that should straighten itself out and true itself up. Our body comes in two pieces, bed, cab. Let's look at the cab first. Again, we have another pretty rowdy separation mark here from the mold, so that too will need to be cleaned up. Otherwise, just a few little spots of flash, but a nicely molded bed unit, considering this is all one piece. They did a pretty good job with this, and you can see it's got these L hooks here to go into the back of the cab, which is nice because once that's together and it goes on the frame, that will provide for a nice solid structure. And we have some underhood detail. We have some nice body side moldings. We even have the trim, whoops. We even have the, truck model, there we go, with the little bow tie. So the bow tie in the 1500, and you can always bring that out depending how you want to do your paint scheme. So that is that. Now, getting into the parts, right away we have some monster truck wheels. These are the backs. We do have our roll cage there, which is pretty neat. We do have these fender flares. I have to see later if we actually use these on the kit. You know, you can always put them on if you want, save them for another kit. Either way, you look at it, it's nice that these are separate pieces. If you want to use them, do a contrast color. It's much easier to paint them and then attach. And we have these big mounting holes on the back of the wheels. There's little bits of flash here and there, but otherwise, this is looking pretty good. Speaking of underbody, we have our our differential cases here for the front and rear axle. We have our control links for the suspension. We have a grill guard. I don't know if we use this on this kit. I have to look at the instructions. One thing I do notice right away, which is a little odd, when they molded it, they decided to do the injector pins on the front rather than the back. So, not a big deal, but you just have to clean those up. If the piece gets used, have to clean those up to smooth them out because they are pretty rough. It would have been nice if they did that from the back, then you wouldn't have to do the cleanup. Next sprue, we have more suspension. We get these nice giant leaf spring units for mounting those axles. This looks like transfer case components. These, I'm not quite sure what those are. Those may be more components for the drivetrain. But looking at this, these are pretty well molded. We don't have a big mold step here from the two halves of the mold coming together, which is nice. So you don't have to clean that up so much. We do get good molding on the leaf springs, front and rear, which is good since they are quite visible underneath the truck to give it its ride height. We have some seats. We have a two-piece dashboard, which is pretty neat because this has, oh, look at that. It has all the instrumentation molded in there. We'll see on the decal sheet if we get a decal for that. If not, at least the molding is there to bring it out. And we have our steering wheel, hood, tailgate. We do get a bucket style interior. This, you know, it is a pickup truck, so nothing crazy fancy in there. And even though it is a bucket mold, there is some nice detail on the sides of those door cards. Now, the difference with a bucket mold versus a interior mold with a separate door card is you get much better relief on the detail of the door interiors. You know, that varies from kit to kit. AMT seems to prefer this style of molding. You can still get in there because the detailing on that mold is pretty good. There is still quite a bit to work with that you can bring out, and you even get cup holders, which is a pretty neat little feature. Pedals are molded in there. The floor is textured, so that is a pretty nicely detailed unit for the way it was molded. We got some nice underhood detail. That's looking good. Let's look at engine parts. Now this is curious. We have a spare tire, a conventional, regular sized spare tire. Okay, extra box. We get some more transmission parts here. A cross brace for the frame, or perhaps that is the motor or transmission mount. We'll have to see in the instructions. Nicely detailed firewall, and we have some pretty crisp detail on our engine. All the gussets on the transmission case are represented, so that should paint up very well. We got this really nice serpentine belt. The fan, now the fan, this I appreciate in particular. And the reason I say that is on quite a few AMT and Revell kits, particular ones with older tooling, these fans never really seem to be, have to correct geometry in terms of the spacing of the blades. Instead of, blades being equally spread about the shafts, that they're smushed and they're regular, and I really don't know why they come out that way, but this one, nice and even. So, hey, happy day. All right, we have our wheel fronts, these big, humongous wheel fronts. Now, you notice there's no detail in the center. When we get to the chrome tree, I believe there is a chrome insert piece, which is great because for a two-tone finish on the wheel, you can just paint the whole wheel, quick spray, drop that chrome piece in there, and bingo, you got your two-tone. No masking necessary, no extra work. So that is nice. We have all of our extra long shock absorbers here, 2 sets per wheel, so we get 8 in total. And look at this. Okay, and good. They are, you notice they are numbered, front and rear, I would assume. That's good because the geometry looks a little bit different between the two. So that's good to see. Next up, we have another mini sprue with drive shafts. And these are really nice. If you look at these, you can see all that detailing around the universal joints. Being that the truck is lifted up, you could do this with like a detail paint, and then, put some silver on there to highlight the U-joints, and then a little black wash in there to bring out the functional detail of the joint. So that's a nice molding. You can do quite a bit with that to dress it up. So that is looking good. Now, I'm not going to take the clear out of the bag because I don't want to risk scratching anything, but we have red taillights. That's a nice little feature, so we won't have to worry about trying to do a clear red on those. For our cab, we have a one-piece front and rear window. The rear window, I hope you can make this out. It does have the 3 bars on there for the sliding access, a little black paint. Pick that right out. There are no side windows, which is fine by me. I don't like the side windows. I like to be able to look in unobstructed. We have what looks like a bug catcher for the front lip of the hood. And then we have all sorts of lights down here. So, now interesting, the roll bar had round light housings, and here we have rectangular, which leads me to believe on our roll bar is probably on the chrome tree. And yes, here it is. So, here is chrome tree number 1. Now we have some exhaust pipes. We have what looks like the end of a different type of exhaust pipe. Yes, we have 2 kinds of exhaust systems here. All right. More parts for the spare bin. We have our air intakes. That's looking good. What do we have? We got a nice big diamond plate piece. That diamond plate, that's molded very nice. Let's see, hope you can make that out. Rotating in the light. That's good. Good. And we have a nice bumper here. Signal lights molded in. Okay. And on our other chrome tree, here we go. We have a light bar for that chrome roll bar. So that will go on top of there, roughly so. So many pieces, they keep spilling over. All right, and now we have, flip this the right way. Oh, we got a nice chrome shifter there. We got another belt system here. We have more lights, housings, valve covers. We got a little supplemental instrument gauge here, side mirrors, and here are the chrome inserts for the wheels. So that will look good. We have our grille. The lights are all molded in there. You know, a little white paint to bring out the headlights, a little black wash in there to bring out the dark spots of the grille. Could even do a little painting on the bow tie. And we have, I guess that is the rear bumper then, as opposed to the front bumper on the other tree. All right, so those are the parts. Now let's move on. We'll take a look at decals. Ta-da. All right, I'm gonna try to get these without glare. There we go. Now this is a really nice decal sheet, and what's immediate notice here for me, we have not just one but two instrument gauge decals. So if you make a mistake, you got an extra. We have some neat license plates. We have the truck series number, the 1500. We have these nice fizz decals and the detail decal for the front of the truck where it curves, so we can use that to map how the red paint will go. And then a whole bunch of these really nice Coca-Cola decals, so you could dress it up a number of ways. A nice big Chevrolet logo for the tailgate, or perhaps the hood or the bug guard. I don't know where that's going to go, but a nice decal sheet. And last but certainly not least, instructions. So we have a traditional AMT fold-out. This one, as opposed to jumping right in, we get a little information. So if you're new to building, building tips, how to handle your parts, removing them, cementing. Okay, if you've done a kit or two, you'd be familiar with that. But for a beginner, it is nice to see that. And if you're currently taking French, we even have English and French. Avant de commencer à assembler votre maquette. Okay, I won't try to remember any of the French. I no longer remember. But hey, there it is. So, and opening it up, we have, there we go. Let's see what we have here. We have some nice, simple diagrams. Look at that. Yeah, so the more I'm looking at this, the more I would say for someone new to the hobby, this would be a really nice kit to build. One of the things that makes building a monster truck comfortable is because it's a monster truck. You have very large suspension elements. You know, your engine will be fun to build, but because you're working with these larger pieces, you don't have to worry about handling little fiddly stuff that can sometimes happen on kits. Not as a criticism of them, but more in terms of if you are newer or new to the hobby, you have a lot to handle here, and physically it's just easier to work with. But looking at the engine here, okay, we have used that chromed blower belt instead of the big serpentine belt. There we have our transfer case going in, mounting the engine with one of those shafts. We're using the regular chromed pipes and putting our front suspension together. And they give you these nice offset diagrams to show you the proper geometry for attaching those shock absorbers. That's really nice. And then we do the rear end, and again, nice, they have these side view diagrams to make sure you get everything hooked up right. Moving on to the interior, you know, it's a simple assembly, but you'll probably have a good opportunity to do some detailing work in there. And we have our body. Glass goes in. And flipping over. Okay, yeah, we were using the chrome roll bar, doubled roll bar. Oh, those were not exhaust stacks. Those chrome angled pieces. Those were the, there we go, the braces for the roll bar to the bed. All right, so there it goes. Ah, and our big diamond plate piece goes up front, so that will look nice. And classic AMT style, or for many model kits, you get the body together, up goes the interior, and then mounting to your chassis, and we're done. And the tires, use these the giant mounting holes in the wheels to go onto these mounting pegs. The only thing I would say to watch with that while building is to make sure when you build it, because sometimes these when kits use these peg systems, you can have a little slop. So looking, you know, at it front on, the camber will be off and the tire can have some wiggle. But being that this is a monster truck and those pegs were not frail, they were pretty meaty. There's a lot for that wheel to sit on and a lot of depth to the tire, so it should sit right. And also because you have such a wide tire, it should not be a problem. If it is, you know, you can just a little dab of cement, set them level. The truck won't roll, but you'll have a nice even set on the tires. And last but not least, in the instructions, being a nice decal guide. Now here you can see how the decal will go for the front, and we're going to have this curve. So if you decide to go with the Coca-Cola paint scheme with the red and the white, you can use the decal to map that paint line so that you don't get the red behind the white of the decal, because it would throw off that white color. So you can map that, mask, and then spray. Otherwise, the white and the red is split right along this trim line on the body, which is molded in. So you can just follow that line right there and then onto the bed. So that's good. They have a nice reference line molded in there. And we have a painting guide, a key for symbols, a little AMT advertisement. Hey, can't blame them for that. All right, and there we go. So that's what you will find in the mysteriously unmarked box. So, pretty neat parts layout. Looks to be a good kit. You know, I am definitely going to be building this at some point. And now that I've looked through the parts, I might be building it sooner rather than later. But the reason I did this open kit review video is, if you're familiar with my build videos, I go through the box contents rather quickly to get to the building. But with this, you know, get to slow down a little bit, take a real good look at all those pieces. And, you know, like I said, I'll have the JPEGs at the end of the talk. So that's that. Thank you for watching. As always, please do like and subscribe. It helps, you know, for other people to become aware of the video. And if you find it helpful, I certainly hope other people can find it helpful as well. So that's that. JPEG's coming up, and thanks for watching.